This tutorial is going to be on the Sallie tomato pattern here, the Zippy Bag. And it comes, you can make the two different sizes. And I was going to make the large one, but I don't know. Looking at it again, I think this one's kind of cute. I bet it's just smaller than this one, but probably the same steps. But anyway, before we get into it, I got a kit from thequiltedcow. You don't have to, but they had this beautiful fabric line. So these are my two fabrics. This is probably my main, my lining, and also came with all my hardware that I will need, and also my zipper tape. So, oh, let's see if there's anything else that we need. So we've got that, we've got the lining, fusible woven interfacing. I use the Shape Flax 101. I've got that on hand. We've got that came in. And then these are just helpful notions that might make your life a little bit easier as you are making it. So here we go. Alright, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm cutting my material up, and here I've got my lining fabric all cut up into the different pieces. We've got a lot of pockets going on, and instead of using the templates that they have in the pattern that you can make a copy of and cut, I just took a friction pen and I just wrote what each of the pieces is for. So now I'm on this is one of the exterior pieces, and you cut a big piece. I'm making the small purse, so when you cut it, the directions are going to be like, oh, I can't show you, but they're going to be in tabs, so just make sure you're cutting for large or small. But anyway, I'm doing the small one, and then I have fused my fusible interfacing, my Shape Flex, to this piece, and I'm going to subcut this. I'm going to take this big piece and cut it into smaller pieces. These are not lined. These didn't require any lining, so I'm going to cut this one up. Alright, I've got everything cut out and labeled here. I've got my pile, and then I've got my 3 here, and this is going to be the main body strap here. These are not lined yet with interfacing. I think once I connect them, then I'll just fuse the interfacing down the whole strip of those. So here we go. So the first zipper you're going to cut is according to the diagram. It's in step 1. You're going to cut it for the longest length in the diagram, that first picture there, and then with that length you're going to measure in from each end, and then you're going to mark it, okay? And the diagram tells you how much to measure in and to mark it, okay? So that is your first zipper. Alright, so after I've marked, the zipper should be a certain length. So I just immediately cut it at the beginning to what the length it should be, measured in from each end according. I drew a line with my white marker chalk because this is black, and then I just stitched over there. That way if the zipper pull gets anywhere, it can't escape. And so now we're taking our main zipper casings, there should be 2 of them, and what I've done is I folded it in half so I could find the center line, pressed it, and then I took each of the short sides and folded it into the middle there, and these are going to go on the ends of each zipper. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take this and you're going to align it the best that you're able to, and make sure it's nice and tucked in this end of your zipper, and make sure it's even on both sides as best as you're able to. You're going to fold it over, all right, and then now mine's not all the way tucked in, that's why you see that line. I'll fix it afterwards. But then you're just going to fold it back over, and then you're going to top stitch all the way down, and you'll do that to both ends. So after we've got those sewed on, you're just going to trim. See how there's extra beyond the zipper on both sides? You're just going to trim that extra off. So you're going to just take your ruler and trim on either side on both ends. Alright, so this is pocket A, and this is my second zipper that I've cut a little bit longer. I think that is step 1 under creating the zipper pockets on the first page still. So I've got a little bit hanging off this side, a little bit hanging off this side, but I've lined the top of my zipper here, and my zipper is right side up with my tab over here to the left. And now I'm just going to stitch it down at a 1/4 inch seam from here to there. So there it is in my machine. Here's my zipper foot. I've got it lined up at my 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm just gonna sew that all the way down. Alright, so all I've done was fold that under, and there's my sewn part, and now I'm just making sure the sides of my pocket here are aligned and everything is straight. Then I'm going to align that with that edge, and I'm going to stitch those together at 1/4 inch, and then you're going to follow the same process and do it to pocket B and pocket C. Alright, so I've got my other 2 done. I don't know, I had this zipper and I kind of switched to it. So these 3 zippers were about 12 inches long, and the other one was shorter. But I was like, I kind of like this silver. I'm gonna give it a go and see how it looks. So I attached that to my other B and C. But now I'm back to pocket A, and I'm gonna take my exterior piece that's for the front top, and we're gonna lay this here on top. I'll align everything, but right sides together, the right side of the zipper, right side of the fabric. And when you're doing all the stitching, you're going to be switching your seam allowance, so make sure you check your pattern for the correct seam allowance that you're using. But anyway, you always want to make sure that your pocket is out of the way no matter which side of the zipper tape you're sewing on. So since I'm going to be attaching this to the top part here, my pocket is fine down here. It won't interfere. So I'm going to stitch that on, and then I'm going to flip it back, and then I'm going to top stitch it when I'm all done. Alright, so there it is. I just folded it back, and then I top stitched it from the zipper in. And now I want to attach my front middle piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my pocket here is out of the way. And I just flipped it under. And I'm going to take my front middle piece, and I'm going to align that. And I'm basically just going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure it's all aligned here and here. And then with my zipper foot, I'm going to just top, stitch it down. Actually, I think it goes right here, so I can flip it down. Yeah, that looks better. Do it that way. It's top stitch it down, and then this is going to flip down, and then I'll top stitch it just like I did with the other one. Look at your pattern before you sew. Alright, so it's attached, and then this side is flipped, so now I'm just going to top stitch it here close to the zipper all the way down. So that's pocket B, and that's still pocket A. Alright, so now that that's top stitched, now we have to sew our bottom on. So again, I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to lay it right sides together, right side of zipper. Just make sure all my sides are lined up and raw edges, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew it with the seam allowance, then I'm going to flip it back, and then I'm going to top stitch. Alright, so here it is, and again, make sure your pockets are out of the way. You do not want to be sewing over your pockets. So all my pockets are under, and both of them are here to this side. Alright, the only thing under here is the zipper tape that I'm going to be top stitching down. Alright, so this was the bottom that I just finished top stitching, and now you're going to take your zipper pulls and move them in. You can move them into the middle. And then what I've done is both of my pockets, there's the first one, it's pulled down nice and taut, and this one is also pulled down. And now I'm just flattening everything, because what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be basting the sides of this. So I'm going to be sewing straight down here to attach everything, baste everything together, and then I'm going to sew straight down here to baste everything together, just to hold everything together. And then afterwards, I'm going to come in with my ruler and trim off this excess zipper tape. And when you baste, you'll be sewing over this, each of your zipper lines, tape lines, and then that will make sure that the pulls can't fall off it. Okay? So you can't see it, there's my baste, and now I'm just lining up my ruler with all my edges. It looks like I'm going to trim just a little bit off. I was maybe a little bit off, and then I'm going to trim up both sides. Alright, so now we're going to round the corners here, and it just has a circular object, and I have things, but I also have these coasters. You could do like a bowl, you could do a cup, whatever has like a rounded edge, and you're just gonna, I just aligned it so that this side was touching that and this side was touching that, and then I took my chalk pen and marked it there, and I also did the same. And then it says to just cut along those curves so you can have a circular curved bottom. Alright, so now here's pocket C, and I've got the zipper tab to the left and the pockets down because I'm going to be attaching my back top. And so I'm just going to align it here, and this is very similar to what we just did with the others. I'm going to sew, and then I'm going to flip it up, and then I'm going to top stitch. Alright, so there it is, top stitch down. Now it's time to attach the bottom, so I'm just going to take this and move that pocket up, and then I'm going to take my back bottom and I'm going to lay it right over again. Zipper tab is over here to the left, right side of the zipper's up. I'm going to align everything, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew it down there, flip it back, and then top stitch. Alright, so here's the bottom, here's the top. I have put my pocket back under, and I'm just going to make sure it's nice and taut. Then I'm going to make sure everything is aligned, and just like the other one, we're going to baste down the sides, and then we're going to trim off this excess zipper tape, and then we're going to round the corners using the same method we did for the other one, but make sure you're rounding the bottom, not the top. Alright, so this is my strap connector piece. So what I did was, I have to kind of fix it maybe a little better, but it's so tiny. It was hard to get my fingers in there. I'll have to fix this side and move it in a little bit. But anyway, I folded it just in half so I could find my center line, and then I took each of my raw edges and folded it into the center and give it a good press. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this over to the machine. You can top stitch it from that side or that side, and you're just going to top stitch it on both sides down, and then you're going to find the middle and cut it in half. Alright, so this is the back of the bag, and these are the tiniest D-rings I have ever used so far. So what I did was I took my piece and I put it through and made sure that when I folded it, the raw part from the back was, you can't see it. And then I measured down from the top down according to the pattern. They have a really nice diagram, figure 18. And I extended it out about 1/4 of an inch. Alright, this part about 1/4 of an inch out. And then I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to baste that down basically on top of the baseline that I already have to hold those in place. Alright, so these are my lining pieces. I do have two, just one right on top of the other. And since they're the same size, we're going to round the bottoms of them just like we did the front and the back of the bag. So I just got my coaster, lined it up, and then I drew it with my friction pen. And then I'm going to, I guess, trim it. Alright, so this is the front of my purse. Now I'm taking my main zipper, which is the one that we made in the very first step, and I'm going to center it. So I should have the same amount, hopefully about 1/2 inch on either side. It is facing downwards, and now I'm going to baste the top here of my zipper to my main bag with 1/4 of an inch seam. So when I started sewing, I'm not using a zipper foot, but you can. I moved my zipper pull down a little bit, okay? And then that gave me room to start sewing. And now what I'm going to do is, because this is going to make it bulky to try to get past there, I have enough space that I can pull it. So, all right, you're going to lift that up. Make sure your needle's down so your project can't go anywhere. And now you're just going to take that, okay, zipper, and you're just going to pull it and maneuver it so it's back out of the way. See, I know that was a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but then you're just going to take that and put it back down, and then you're just going to keep on sewing all the way to the end. Okay, next step is to take one of your lining pieces, and there's the part that I just sewed, and you're just going to lay it right sides together over the top. You're going to align everything and clip or pin if you want, and then you're going to make, after everything's aligned, you're going to attach your lining up here with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Alright, so there it is, and now I'm just going to take this and flip it over along with my zipper here, and then I'm going to flip everything under and just make sure everything is where it needs to be. Okay, just make sure everything is tucked. I'll check the back too, but once it's all, you got it all checked out, now you're going to take this and you're just going to top stitch it here close to this zipper. So just top stitch all the way down. Alright, so now it's time to attach everything. So I've got the back of the bag, and then I laid the front of the bag over that, and that was the lining I already attached. This was my second piece of lining, and then I put this piece of lining right side down, so it's right sides together, and then I stitched, and then it works because when you open it like this and fold that back, then you've got the lining, you've got the zipper hidden inside. That's what it looks like from the other side. And now you can see I've already top stitched on this side, so I need to come over to this side once I get this straightened out back there. Then I'm going to top stitch down that side next to the D-rings. So it's time to sew everything together. I have my linings matched up, and I decided to pin those. I have this zipper open. Okay, I can get into it wherever it is. I pulled it to the middle, so that's good. All my other zippers too, I pulled into the middle. And then this is my front and my back all clipped together. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave an opening here in my lining. That's where I'm going to be turning it inside out. And then I'm just going to start sewing all the way down and all the way around until I get back to my opening, making sure I back tack when I start and when I end. So I've turned it inside out. I had to, this got caught because I didn't follow the instructions and tape these down, so this kind of got caught, so I had to rip that part out and re-sew it. But anyway, it looks pretty good, all turned inside out. Now my lining here has this opening, so this material is just going to fold under. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, this material is going to fold under, and then I'm just going to sew it with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way closed. So that's what it looks like closed. I still have to make the strap, but it's got a pocket here. Yeah, sorry, not a roller coaster. A pocket there. It's kind of a shallow pocket. We've got another pocket here. That's a deeper pocket. You flip it around. There's a pocket on this side as well. There's lots of pockets in this one. And then there's the main pocket right here at the top. And I will open this. That I just sewed closed, and it's nice. So it's got great pockets. This is the shorter version, so if you make the longer version, it's going to be the exact same steps, except your pieces are just going to be probably this one here. I'd have to take a look at it, but this one for sure would be longer to give you a deeper purse. So now I'm going to make the strap. Alright, so you should have 3 binding strips, and it works like normal binding attaching strips would. Even though you're making crossbody, you've got to still attach the straps. So if you've done binding before, if you haven't, so I just lay 1 strip there, and then I take my other strip, and they're perpendicular to each other. The raw edges are matched up there, and the right sides are together. And what I do is, you can take your ruler and draw it from corner to corner, and it should go through the corner there. But I just take this back, and I fold it back, and I give it a good finger press. You see a triangle there. And that gives me enough of a press so I can see the line that I'm sewing on. And then I just sew on that line, and then I go and I trim it. So I will cut it about 1/4 of an inch away from that. I'll line up my ruler there. Yeah, and then I will use my rotary cutter to just trim that. And then I have already also attached my my 3rd one as well. So now I just need to trim it, and then I'm gonna start ironing it. Okay, so I have my strap made. After I connected all my pieces, then I had quite a wide piece, and then I cut my interfacing, and it basically just kind of went through the middle of my, like this, okay, right there. and the interfacing stopped about 1/2 inch on either side, and it didn't cover the whole thing. It'll make it too stiff and it's hard to fold it over. So anyway, once I fused the interfacing to the middle of my strip and folded each end like this, then I folded each raw edge in and gave it a good press all the way down, and then I folded it in half, and then I stitched on both sides, which you can see. So now we're going to connect it into the buckle, and let's do that. Alright, so the first thing I did was I just went under and then over the top of the center and then through, and then I wrapped it around to the back, and then I stitched down. Mine is at a slant. I was having a hard time getting this skinny thing through. But I'm going to keep going on. Alright, hopefully I can do this. So what we're doing now is I got this sewed on, and then I slid the opposite end of the strap, and I put one of these over it, and then I just pushed it. I pushed it down. There it is. I just pushed it down till it was about maybe about that close to the buckle. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try not to get it tangled, but I'm gonna pull it until I find the end here. All right, and then I'm gonna bring it over to the buckle, and then I'm gonna bring it up through one end, over the center bar, and down through the other end. And I'm gonna pull. All right, and once you pull it, that swivel hook that was next to it, it's just gonna like loop around, and it will be, yeah, there it is. And this will be one end that connects into the purse, so that one's just there. And then over here where the strap is, you're gonna take your remaining swivel hook, and I'm gonna put it through there and wrap it under maybe about an inch or so, just like I did. So it's just folded under. It's just folded under there. And now I'm gonna just top stitch that down right there. I hope that made sense. It might look confusing, but all right. So it is done, and now you take your purse and you connect it onto your D-rings here, however you would like. Make sure that's up. And there you have it. Ta-da. All right, and then your buckle here will slide to give you more length, or I've got that a little tangled up there. I'll just untangle that. All right, or it will slide to give you less. Okay, so it turned out really cute for my first one on this one. And there it is, the, what do they call it? The Zipper Bag by Sallie Tomato. Now she does have her own tutorial on YouTube. If you just type in Sallie Tomato Zippy Bag, you'll also see her tutorial. So enjoy, have fun.